Hey folks, welcome back. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to Master Plan Retirement Consultants Retirement Roadmap. My name is Evan. With me as always, retirement planner Mark Fricks. And today is Q&A part 2, or as you said in our last episode, we get mail part 2.
Part due,
I'm sorry. We're going to have to take that again. So this is really an opportunity to walk through some questions that we get pretty regularly, that we see quite a bit, or misconceptions even. And as I mentioned in the previous episode, if you have a specific question about retirement, we would love to answer that or feature that in a future episode. You can reach out to us at info@masterplanretire.com. Shoot us a quick email there, or just go to our website, masterplanretire.com. There you can find links to reach out to us for contact. You can also schedule your complimentary consultation to discuss your own retirement. There's a ton of features on the website, including links to different episodes like the one today, including our classes. We've got our seminar and webinar schedule on there as well, and multiple other retirement resources. So check that out, masterplanretire.com. Mark, before we jump into part 2, is there anything else we can do for you, or anything you'd like to cover?
You mentioned the classes real quickly. I tell you what, our tax class is one of the most popular classes we teach. And so keep an eye on, go to the website, bookmark it, and go to events. And about a month ahead of time that we'll be teaching the class, it will pop up. Sometimes it's a dinner class, sometimes it's an educational class with no food, but more content. So it depends on what you're hungry for, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's on Zoom. But it's our favorite, most attended class. Social Security is a great class. Estate planning is a good one. Federal employee benefits, a very good one. It's a complicated area, and so we are certified in that area as well. But yeah, check out the events. It's a great place to get educated and build that foundation. And then when you come in to get your specific help, you already have a nice layer of understanding and knowledge.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Question number 1. We actually covered this in a previous episode, but it's a great concept. How do I get my children to be more financially minded and to take retirement planning seriously?
Wow, that's a good question. We have a lot of clients that want to bring their kids and grandkids in. We do take a couple of them on as clients. I don't think you can make anybody, especially somebody younger, do anything.
Yeah.
You can encourage. Sometimes we'll send home a book with them that's a good, simple, hey, how should you plan for retirement for somebody your age? That's a great book. Be glad to send it to you if you contact us. I think it's called the new age of retirement, or the new era of retirement.
New rules, I think.
New rules of retirement, yeah. But it's funny. You'll have a client says, I want all 3 of my kids being 20 or even 30 or 40 years old, by the way, here. So yeah, I want them all to come see you, and then after 6 months, maybe one came. And so part of it is mentality, and the bad part is in 20 years when they're 50 or 60, they'll wish they had. But I don't know how you really can't make. I'll tell you what might be a good idea would be with our clients, meaning then we will have a family meeting. And so you bring in not only the client couple, but the kids. Some of them are going to be trustees and executors of the estate. And so we share with the whole family only what the couple gave us permission to share. But I think that might get them more interested, not only in what's happening with their parents and how will that transfer to the next generation, but also maybe pique their interest from a standpoint of, my parents did a good job with this, maybe I should start thinking about it. So that would be, I think, one idea that I would have. Do you have any ideas?
No, that's similar. On that similar train of thought, it can be it can be really difficult as a child to listen to what your parents are telling you to do. Like, we know that's, some of us even have aversions immediately. I'm not talking about you, I'm just saying. If it's hard to listen to your parents when they're telling you should do something sometimes. I understand that. And it can be really hard. Hey, son or daughter, you should really start putting money away. Well, that's just an order. There's no background or education onto why that needs to take place. So I think the first step is understanding of the environment to where that is needed. And I think a great way to approach that is a family meeting, like you said. that maybe is for the parents, saying, hey, this is for us to show you where we are, what our plan is in retirement, what will be happening, what the estate plan is, how to go through these things, and why. And I think that, like you said, Mark, that's opening the door to understanding the environment first of why there is a need for planning and for saving and for opening a Roth or whatever, that you want your kids to become more minded of that. The action is only going to take place after they understand the need. And then that inciting incident, then they'll say, yes, now I see that there's a problem on the horizon. Now I can understand the environment. Now I will choose to act and be more proactive in my own. But I think that's a great idea. I think if you can bring them into your own first and not make it about your kids having to do something or being behind or anything else, but say, this is what we're doing. This is how things are working. These are what make these wheels turn and why we're doing it. Then that will help them to start reflecting on theirs, and it's the first step in education, I think.
Well, so, and a lot of times we'll do this over the holidays, like, because all the kids, again, we may be talking about kids that are in their 40s and 50s and maybe live in another state and have their own kids, and they're busy, but finally they make it to mom and dad's for Christmas. Well, maybe they come in a day or two early and get it, because everybody's going to be together perhaps, or maybe some of them will be together. So that could be a good time to do that, maybe between Christmas and New Year's. We are open, a little bit lighter staff, but are open that week. And so something like that where you kind of have, and even if it's not with us or with an advisor, maybe just on vacation with all your kids, have one night where you sit down and say, we want to share some things with you and have something a little bit less formal.
Make it fun, family pizza night and movie afterwards or something. Make it an event that's not just, we have to get serious. Right. This is a gathering for us to spend time as a family, but while we're here, let's discuss this.
Or you could play a Monopoly or Life.
That's Life.
Kind of very similar. Teach.
Hopefully the game's where everyone's a winner.
Sure. That's the way it works.
The next question. Won't Medicare and Medicaid cover my medical bills late in life?
Depends on what bills you're talking about. So, Medicare, so once you reach 65, of course, you're eligible for Medicare. Medicare Part A, you have paid for your whole life if you worked and paid into FICA. So Medicare Part A is no cost in retirement in most cases. It covers facility, it covers hospital and hospice. Part B, you pay for it during retirement, and the price varies based on your income. It covers doctor visits, x-rays, all that ancillary stuff that goes on. And then there's various other things. You can get a supplement. You have to get Part D for drugs, so forth, and so on. So it does cover a good bit. The better the supplement you get, the more it covers. If you go the Advantage route, you have a copay. But what it does not cover is extended long-term care. Okay, so there is a misconception out there that, hey, I'm going to be on Medicare, my long-term care will be taken care of. Your first 30 days is mostly covered. Your next 30 days are partially covered for skilled nursing, which means I broke a hip, I've got to go to a home or something like that. It requires a hospital stay first, and then you go straight to the skilled nursing facility. But home health care, assisted living, memory care, or long-term care is not covered. Now, if you spend down all of your money, you could qualify for Medicaid, which is a state-sponsored, partially funded by the federal government, but also funded by the state. But it basically means you're broke. And so you go to a Medicaid type nursing home. Sometimes they may not be quite as nice. Sometimes they are. I'm not cutting any of these down. You just have a less of a selection of beds and rooms and things of that nature. So it is not the most desirable way. You do get care. That's the good part. There is a shortage of those beds. Many times there's a waiting period. 3 months, 6 months, depends on where you live. So it's nice to have your own plan. And if you've done a good job over the years of accruing money, we can squeeze more out of that money for long-term care that hopefully will take care of one or both folks. I don't know what the latest numbers are, but I think if a couple reaches 65, there's like a 70% chance one of them will need some form of long-term care. That may be off a little bit, but it's pretty darn close. So plan on the probability of that happening. How are you going to handle it?
Yeah, and we mentioned this in the previous Q&A as well. with the long-term care crisis on the horizon of so many of the boomer generation aging into that bracket, and our infrastructure for long-term care facilities, nursing homes, things like that is far behind, and even especially the personnel. And it's so much more important to be able to choose where you want to go rather than just, I don't really have the opportunity or the finances to be able to choose where I'm going to stay or my loved one is going to stay. So it absolutely needs to be part of your strategy. Yes, we are thankful that these government benefits exist, but they are not to be relied on solely. And
they're a safety net.
They're a safety net, 100%.
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, here's a great one. Should I take my pension as a lump sum? Can't I earn more if I invest the funds?
Yeah, so this is an individual question. Everybody's different. Every situation is different. But what we see, so basically a pension is, of course, what's called a defined benefit plan. In other words, we're defining how much you're going to get in retirement. And that definition is based on how many years you work, how much money you make, all that kind of good stuff. And then when you retire, you get a guaranteed check. That's a great thing. Mm-hmm. Most of those are gone. Federal government, state government still have some.
Certain large corporations still have them.
Some corporations still have them. But in many cases, not government, but some government. But a lot of the private pensions will give you an option. They'll say, okay, we'll either give you a check as long as you live. We'll give you a little bit less of a check if you want your spouse to keep getting some of it if you pass away. Or you can roll over the lump sum, which may be $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 into your own IRA, no taxes on that rollover, and create your own income stream. And what we see in most cases is that's a better option because now you control the money. If it's an annuity pension that pays out a check, you have to turn it on at a certain time. And like I said, there are restrictions on what happens when you pass away. Mm-hmm. If it's in your own IRA, whether you purchase an annuity with it, whether you put it into an investment, you totally control it. Mm-hmm. If you don't use it up, it goes to spouse, it goes to grandchildren, it goes to children. So it's much more flexible. And if you do give it a couple of years to grow, and you don't need it for a couple of years, it can be a bigger payment than you were going to get in the pension amount. Right. So much more flexible to do that. And like I said, probably 9 out of 10 times we will let the client control it by getting into their own IRA. We call it creating a private pension plan. Yeah,
and that's one of the more powerful reasons that we would roll it. And one, let's keep in mind, we're not withdrawing we're not taking it all and withdrawing that pension lump sum.
That's a taxable amount.
Rolling it to an IRA. So then it is under the IRS rules. So yes, the control is huge. The fact that you can take what was a pension just for you and now convert it to something that could be a joint income stream and even last after you pass and your spouse can get something.
The full amount.
The full amount as well. It can also be inherited if there's anything left or if you both pass before. There's just so much more control. There's, pensions often will have a pretty low cost of living increase every year.
If they have one at all.
If they have one at all. And so there are more tools out there now that can create income streams that can grow and compete with inflation, if not outpace inflation. Some of the long-term care things we talked about, you can add some long-term care riders to these. There's so many options. That's not to say that you should always roll it, but you need to look at your needs. You need to look at the needs of those around you, your spouse, your family, things like that. Because there's the considerations against it would be, okay, if you want to roll it into, let's say, an annuity, typically those annuities, to really get the most out of them the way we're talking, they need to mature a little bit. So there's going to be a few years before you're going to be able to turn that on, at least. So do you have a strategy to fill that income gap before you turn on the annuity? So just like everything else we talk about, it depends, right? But everything has caveats. Everything needs to work together strategically. So hopefully that gives you more insight into not being able to give you a yes or no answer.
Yeah, I think just like it's flexibility is the key word. And just like when you take a 401k, a big 401k and build it into 6 or 8 different accounts, each with a job, That gives you more flexibility and more efficiency. Same thing with a pension. If you roll it over to your IRA or IRAs, maybe some of it goes into an annuity for income, but you didn't need as much as you thought. The rest of it goes into growth or whatever, like we were talking about. So just flexibility and efficiency are probably the two key words.
Absolutely. Next question. My 401k does not offer a match. Is it even worth contributing?
Yeah, so what I would do if I had a 401k that did not offer a match, I would start by maximizing my own personal Roth or IRA. And this year's limit, if you're over age 50, I think is $8,600 a year. Your spouse can also do one whether they work or not. As long as one of you has earned income of that amount, $8,600 or more, then you can actually do two of them, $8,600 each. The reason I would do that, the main reward for 401k is, of course, that free money. Mm-hmm. Hey, you put in 5%, we'll put in 5%. You definitely want to put in 5%, okay? Yeah. But anything above that, or if they don't offer a match at all, you get more flexibility, a higher level of investment strategies, a lot more choices, a lot more activity that we can do more trading in. You're very limited in a 401k. And 401ks are not cheap.
Yeah.
They are filled with mutual funds that each have a built-in fee that you don't see. And that's between 0.5% up to almost 2% that will suck away some of your, rate of return as well. And so I would first, like I said, max out your own for IRA or Roth. If you are able to put away more than that, then you can go back over to the 401k and start putting money in that as well. So that's kind of a big deal. And again, if they match 5%, go to 5%. And then if you can put in 5% more, put into a personal IRA or Roth as well.
Yeah, that's a great strategy. If they don't offer any matching, then open up your own Roth or IRA. But if they offer match, get that free money. Mm-hmm. That's part of your salary package. I mean, they included in that. Make sure you're getting that free money. And then anything above that, a good strategy, open up your Roth over, outside of there and find a solid index fund to follow or talk to an advisor to give you some, that's what I should be saying. Talk to an advisor and to help you with that.
A holistic advisor.
Yes, indeed.
Real quickly, I do want to mention masterplanretire.com. You'll see it here on the screen if you're watching via video or YouTube. But it's masterplanretire.com. Why is that important? It is a treasure trove of retirement tools. There are checklists. There is educational classes. There's a little button. I call it the magic button. Schedule a meeting. You push that button, and our calendar pops open, and you will see openings. Why would you want to do that? It is a two-part meeting, complimentary, where we will, first of all, have just some casual discussion with you. Tell me about your dreams, your goals, your fears. What is it in your life, in your retirement, in your future that could derail you, things of that nature. Then we will run a series of 6 to 9 reports to really see where you're at. Maybe you should not be afraid of this particular aspect of your retirement, but hey, did you think about this part? This one would really trip you up, right? The effect of higher taxes on retirement is huge. That's a good report. The effect of bear markets on retirement is huge. That's a big report. So if you know what the problem is, let's deal with it. Let's have a strategy for that. So that button will take you to our calendar or 770-980-9262. And one more time, masterplanretire.com.
Next question. When planning for retirement, should I just assume Social Security is going away and leave it out of the equation?
We've actually had a couple of clients that say just don't count Social Security, and that is fine. I mean, that's
if you can.
If you can, yeah. But our sincere belief is Social Security will be around for generations to come. It could look different. It could smell different. It could be a different amount. There's been 7 or 8 major changes in Social Security since it's been around since the late 30s. And so it's always evolving and changing. Right now, if they don't do anything to fix it, it's not going away. Your payment will drop by around 26%.
In the 2030s.
In the 2030s. Yeah. Okay, so even then it's not going away. It's just we're going to lose one of the funding mechanisms, which is the big trust fund or savings account that helps fund it. It's being depleted. So we'll still have 2 of the funding areas. We've talked about it before. So I would still include it, even if you wanted to include 75% of it, as opposed to 100% of it. You could do that. But I think they're going to fix it. There's too many people that will be affected. It's not just retirees. It's not just every American over the age of 62 to 70, but it's people on Social Security disability.
Yeah.
It's special needs adults that are on it, even kids that have parents that are older are getting a little bit of Social Security to help them out. So this is not just this many people. This is this many people.
Yeah.
And if you're listening on radio, my arms got bigger, by the way. So it's, we can plan with or without it, but I think you need to plan it being there if we want to reduce the amount we can.
Yeah, I mostly agree with that for today's retirees. I think if you are retiring and you're of retirement generation now, then yes, if there's any change to it, it might be 20% less, right, if they do nothing. But for my generation, 30 years from now, you have time to plan without it. And there are too many things going on politically, economically, to guarantee anything 30 years away.
That's true.
So I think it depends on your timeline. And I really do. And I think right now, if nothing changes, then it will go away in 30 years. My personal belief, without digging into the politics and things like that, if there aren't enough changes correctly, or if things continue to go a certain way, then yes, it's not looking great for a lot of our benefits in 30 years. I do have hope that things will be improved, as we have to find answers, and the more immediate one in the 2030s, making sure that we figure out the trust fund problem, and that's going to be incremental. But if you have a longer time horizon until your retirement, I do think it would behoove you to take a little bit more responsibility and to maximize your savings in order to plan for the unknown. And tell you what, even if you do that and we still have Social Security, guess what? You're in a better place than you would have been otherwise.
And so much of our population, especially, I won't call out any generation, every generation, we've become a society of instant gratification. Put off getting in that new car. I mean, if you buy a car that will last 15 years, keep it 15 years. Don't trade every 3 years. Put that money away. I mean, make some sacrifices, and these are not intense sacrifices. Just until last year, I was driving a 11-year-old car. And until all the lights started coming on the dashboard, I drove it because I didn't have a car payment, so I spent 10 years without a car payment. So, and hopefully you're saving so the next car you pay cash for. Don't buy new. I mean, just all these little things. Don't go to Starbucks 3 times a day. Go make your own pot of coffee. It's cents on the dollar.
It'll taste better.
And definitely tastes better. I'm just saying,
offense,
hey,
Starbucks.
enjoy life, but also take a look at what you're really spending. Now, we're talking about kind of an ugly little subject here. It's called budgeting, okay? So don't want to get too far into that, right? But look at what you're spending. Most of us don't even know what we're spending. We don't know what we're spending, and all of a sudden we're just short of money at the end of the month. Well, I can't save money. Yeah, take a second. Maybe that next bigger house, maybe it's not needed. Maybe put off buying the next house until interest rates fall back down. Just don't feel like everything's going to be done because I want it right now.
Yeah, it's hard. And actually reach out to us. We have some budgeting spreadsheets that are really helpful for organizing yourself. But it is hard, and it takes several months to get things rolling to where you want them to be. It's going to be incremental adjustments like anything else, creating new habits, things like that. But first, finding those places of excess where you can cut back, or maybe you're not tight enough on, and just start a little bit at a time, and you'll start to get that. And when you see the results over time, it'll inspire you to pursue it even more.
Pay yourself first.
Yeah,
that's
100%.
Which that's what's great about 401ks is it comes out automatically before you see it.
Yeah,
so that's a positive. So, great show. Good topic. You can find part 1 before part 2. Today was part 2 of we get mail or we get questions.
We got
mail. Again, masterplanretired.com is our website. Hope to see you, whether it be in an appointment or at a class or whatever. But until we do see each other again, plan well and prosper. Take care.